Senator Stanley.
First and foremost, I'm a criminal defense attorney. I'm a civil litigator. We have these things in common. To make an accusation like collusion, based on the fact that 2 districts out of 11 appear to be identical, is not even circumstantial evidence that can carry across the line, even from a preponderance standpoint of a legal analysis, let alone beyond a reasonable doubt. But we jump to collusion. Now, I've just looked at these maps and your overlays and your map locking here. 1 is different from each other, from the C1 and Tom Davis. 2 is different from each other. These aren't just precincts, they're significant differences. 3 is totally different. Congressional District 3 is totally different from the Tom Davis plan and the C1. 4 is different. 5 has got differences, that being Brunswick County and a little bit of Richmond, how it takes, backs off of Chesterfield. 6 is the same. 7 is different. 8 is different. 9 is different. 9 is the same. 10 is different. 11 is different. That is evidence of not collusion, but certain things, unfortunately, Delegate Simon, Madam Chair, I would tell Delegate Simon, that you can't do much with the population shifts in the West. So a lot of 9 and a lot of 6 and a lot of 5 are going to be the same on whomever draws them. Just because of population. 9's going to have to bulge out. It can go north or it can go east. 6 has got to get bigger. 5 has got to get bigger. But to sit here and make the accusation of a map drawer, which I'm sure he can defend himself if given the opportunity, but allow me to take the first stab at that somehow this is some collusive Republican conspiracy. If Tom Davis engaged a map drawer who happens to work for Jill Vogel, then that's the evidence. Okay? Not that then they got together with the Republican map drawer and colluded. Collusion is a very serious word, not only in the law, civil and criminal, but politics as well. I take umbrage with that. I don't believe that you can make these accusations based on circumstantial evidence when the circumstances of that evidence are not even conclusive or persuasive even. But again, I guess this gets back to the one thing. I am reminded that perhaps this delegate was put on this commission because he was very against this commission for one reason: to blow up this commission. Now, I can make that accusation, certainly based on the record that I'm seeing here, but I'm not going to sit there and say it conclusively proves that, because I know Delegate Simon, and I would think that if we could find something to agree on, he would agree with it. But as long as we're getting into this tit and tat back and forth, we're never going to get anywhere. And these are 11 districts, not 140. We should be able to put our heads together and put something together, even to where we have gotten to the point where we say, map drawer from the Democrat side, map drawer from the Republican side, go into a room, get this together, and they come out and you scream collusion. And that suddenly the Democrat map drawer must have given in to the Republican map drawer, or something. Somehow in the night they must have moved the lines without anybody noting it. Collusion, conspiracy. These are the things, these are the hobgoblins of minds that get us away from consensus and kill what we're trying to do. And maybe that's the point, and maybe it's not. But I cannot find collusion, and I've been practicing law for 27 years, Madam Chair. I'll be danged if that's it. If somebody got help drawing a map, fine. But collusion, not so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Delegate Ransom.
I'm not an attorney. I'm hoping we can get the train back on the tracks and start talking about maps and how we can come together. A week ago, we were talking about getting along and working on maps. So that's what I came here to do today. I think we've had some good input from the public. We have a map that was brought to us, and I came here today to talk about maps. I know that we can't take votes, Madam Chair, but if there's something that we can look on the maps and talk about that we agree on, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Tyson, I think you had your hand up beforehand.
Yes, Madam Co-Chair. Brian Tyson, good morning. I wanted to respond briefly to Delegate Simon on an allegation of collusion is a very serious allegation. And we on our side definitely understand our responsibilities not to communicate outside of this context, and we have not done that. In preparation for the meeting that was held in the beginning of last week, the co-chairs had specifically requested we look at citizen maps. We looked at a bunch of citizen maps in the process. And then we had it in specific instructions to have 3 and 4 held steady, to have different parts of the map drawn by different people on that. And in doing that process, Mr. Morgan can explain, we looked at the citizen maps that were there, and there's not a whole lot of ways you can draw Southwest Virginia. And you're going to split an area, you're likely going to split it in the most populous area. The idea that we've conspired with the NRRT to come up with this, secret map that's just patently untrue. I had one communication with Mr. Torchinsky about this map, which was he was having trouble with an upload and asked who to talk to, and I gave him Ms. Lamb's contact information. That's the entirety of any communication that took place. So the allegation that we have somehow conspired or taken information we were not supposed to, we have not. We understand our obligations on that. And I just want to make that very clear for the commission that this is a matter of trying to follow the instructions we were given by the co-chairs, looking at the citizen maps that were out there and finding the best solution that would work to get to a map that the commission could work from. So I want to make that clear for everybody. Mr. Morgan may want to say more, but I just want to make sure that everyone is clear that we have take our obligations seriously. We have been very careful not to communicate outside of this process and to follow what has been given to us by this commission and the directions we've received.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, Senator McDougle.
One other point. When we're looking at these things, and I brought up Delegate Rasul and his comments, and on the Senate side, Senator Suderline made public comments in the way that was appropriate too. He got on the time frame that was appropriate to speak and made some very cogent and direct comments about Roanoke and Botetourt and that Salem, that entire region of the state. And after his comments that were made in the appropriate way, there were some comments from individuals that were on a different political direction, which is totally fine. That's what it should do. And then the Senate maps all of a sudden switched from compact and contiguous and keeping counties together to a different direction on the Democratic map drawer. I didn't think that there was necessarily some collusion or direction when that occurred. I thought that they liked something better that I didn't like. I thought it went against our criteria pretty dramatically, but that wasn't collusion. As we're going forward, I think Delegate Ranson's right. We only got a week left. We either try to find a way to say what is in line with our criteria of compactness, contiguous, following the Equal Protection and Voting Rights Act, and come up with a solution, or not. I mean, that's really the bottom line of where we are. So I know we can't take votes today because we do not have a quorum, and want to commend all the legislators for being here, because everybody from the House and Senate is present today when they, I'm sure, would both rather be working at their full-time jobs. But I do think that we can continue to try to work forward together, but that is going to be very hard if we're casting aspersions at each individual comments or going in a different direction.